Simply Steve, the show that teaches you how to cook simply. And today we're going to cook pesto linguini, a strip of ribeye cooked in Tuscan style with grilled tomatoes. Once again, this is not hard, very, very simple. And the first thing we're going to do is get a quick marinade for the steak. So what I'm going to have happen here is I'm going to open up my hunk of meat. Get rid of that. And put her up on a cutting board. Now, I'm using a different cutting board for the meat because I don't want to cross-contaminate things. So be careful about that. When you touch meat or something like that, make sure you wash your hands when you're done. So we've got another bag, we're going to get rid of it. And I'm going to walk over and wash my hands. I'll be right back. And I'm going to cut this thing down the middle and turn it into strips. And we'll start right here. There's about 2 strips, roughly 6 inches long. Okay, so this is what we end up with as our Tuscan strip steak right there. All right. All right, so we've stripped our steak out, and what I'm going to do is just set it off to the side for a minute, put the knife down, grab a clove of garlic. And what we're going to do with this clove of garlic is we're going to put the knife on the flat side and crush it. That makes it a lot easier to peel the skin and stuff off, all right? So once we've done that, we're going to take this garlic clove and we're going to put it in my favorite tool, a garlic crusher. All right? Here's the plate that we're going to put the marinade in. And that's it. You got crushed garlic right there, baby. Downtown. Okay, we'll set that aside. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take about, a quarter cup of olive oil. We're going to pour it in here. All right? Just like this. We're going to take probably about a tablespoon of salt and some ground pepper. Okay? We're going to grind that into the olive oil. This is a very simple marinade for the steak. And man, is it good. All right, so we're going to take the strips that we've cut, put them in the marinade, and we're going to work them out until you get all of the marinade on the steak. All right? So the next thing I'm going to do is set this aside and let it marinate while we prepare the rest of our meal. Now, I'm not going to wipe my hands on my apron like I did last time. I have a rag, so I'll do that. And we'll be back to cook the rest of the meal. Now we're going to make a balsamic reduction sauce for the Tuscan style steak that we're going to be cooking a little later on. So what we're going to start with is obviously some balsamic vinegar, about a half a cup. All right? Boom. Pour that in a pan. Set it aside. We want to take some Tuscan butter. Now you can get this at the store. It's already mixed. It has a lot of nice seasonings, garlic, a little bit of olive oil in it. So I'm going to take about 2 tablespoons of that, add it to the balsamic, set it down. I'm going to take, about that much garlic, drop that in, and a pinch of salt. A pinch is like this, maybe a teaspoon, all right? And then we're going to take it and put it on the stove and cook it down to where it's about half of the amount that you started with, all right? So here we go. Turn the flame on, about medium, okay? Put that on there. Let's stir this around just a little bit, just to break up the butter. Let it cook. Now that we have our balsamic reduction going, we want to start making the pesto sauce. And what we use for that is some pine nuts, crushed garlic that I've already done. I showed you how to do that. Salt, olive oil, Asiago cheese. I like Asiago. Some people like Parmesan. I'll take the Asiago. And some fresh basil. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of olive oil and put it in a small fry pan. Turn the flame up to low. And we're going to take our pine nuts and toast those before we put them into the mix. All right. And we'll let those cook just for a little while. In the meantime, we want to have 4 cups of basil. So I've taken a nice fresh basil plant that I got at the store. I've rinsed it, and I'm going to just start picking the leaves off and putting them in here. Okay, and we just want to fill this up with the leaves that we pick off. Okay, so we've picked about 4 cups of leaves out of here. And you don't want to press them down really hard like you're throwing laundry in your laundry basket, but you want to have sort of a little loose set here and 4 cups of basil. All right, I'm going to set that aside. We're going to put this back in some water, and at a future date we'll grow more leaves and use it again. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the Asiago cheese and we're going to fresh grate it into this cup. We want about 1.5 cups of Asiago. And just keep grating away until we have about 1.5 cups. And we've got her here, and we're going to dump it into this bowl and set it aside. Now we want to check on our pine nuts. And oh, they are a beautiful toasty golden color here. So I'm going to turn the flame off. And we're going to take our nice toasty pine nuts and put them in a bowl. And we'll set them aside. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to start the water for the pasta and let it come to a boil. Okay, we're going to start now with the basil. So the first thing we're going to do is with our food processors, we're going to put the basil leaves in. Now you can use a blender as well. It'll work, but I prefer the processor simply because I have it. So I'm going to start shoving them in there. And they're going to fly all over the place, so just go ahead and do it, and then you can pick up the ones you drop. And shove them into the processor. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add the garlic. So same thing, we'll just put it in the top of the processor. Use my handy rag to wipe my hands with. We'll shove this down, and let's give it a burst. And we want the garlic and the basil to mix up a little bit. And chopping up until it's finely ground. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to add the pine nuts. And we're going to process until those are finely chopped and mixed in with our basil and our garlic. And just about like that. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to get our Asiago cheese in. Try and keep it from flying all over the place. About like that. Got a little bit of a mess, but who cares? We're cooking and having fun. And we're going to process that until they're all nicely mixed up together. Okay, and then let it set. Now, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to add about 1.5 cups of olive oil. And what we're going to do, here's a cup, is we're going to add it slowly while the blender is on. You want to make sure it's all blended up nicely. And let's put it in a bowl. All right. I'm going to salt and pepper to taste. So a little bit of salt, a little pinch, and some fresh cracked pepper. And we're going to set it aside so the flavors can get to know each other, mingle a little bit, okay? Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start the steaks. Okay, now that we have our pesto sitting here and mingling, it's time to get the steaks prepped to put on the grill. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the grill. And what I have here is a cast iron grill that I put over the pilot of my stove. So let's get that going. About medium heat. Okay, looks like our balsamic reduction is done. So I'm going to set that off to the side here. And I need it ready to put the steaks on the grill, but I want to show you something first. This is how to cook a steak. Real simple little trick. You like your steak rare, medium, or well done. This is the way to check your steak without having to cut into it. Take your hand, put your thumb to your forefinger. Press right here in the fatty part of your thumb. That is rare. Touch the middle finger, and that is medium rare. Next finger, medium, and when you touch the pinky and press, that's what your steak should feel like when it's well done. All right? This is what we're going to do. We're going to put the steaks on the grill. And wait for that sizzle. Oh, baby. And sizzle. Yeah, they're looking pretty good on one side. We're going to turn them over. Oh, look at those beautiful grill lines on there. Very nice. All right, I'm going to give the steaks a little finger test here. And they're just a little on the rare side for me, so I'm going to cook for another couple of seconds. Okay, the steaks are looking pretty good, so I'm going to pull them off the grill. They're just a little over rare, and I'm going to let them rest. And while they rest, what happens is the juices come back into the meat, and it continues to cook for a little while. Okay, while the steaks are resting, we're going to go ahead and get ready to do our grilled tomatoes. So you want to take a couple of, I use Roma tomatoes because they have a nice thick skin and they hold up a little better when you grill them. So you want to take them and you want to cut them lengthwise in half. And we're going to season them a little bit. So I want to take a little bit of salt, put it on each one of these. Next, we're going to put a little bit of ground pepper on them. And drizzle a little bit of olive oil. Just a touch, all right? Like that, about like that. And put them on the grill here. We want to put them skin side down to start with. Okay, and we'll let those guys grill up while we get our pasta started. Okay, now I like to use fresh pasta, so I've got some nice linguini here. So let's go ahead and get it in the boiling water. Take my rag, take the top off. Water's boiling. Let's throw her in there. Put the lid halfway on. And we're going to stand by and wait till the pasta's done, and then we're going to plate. All right, the linguini's done. I'm going to go ahead and put it in a bowl. And what I like to do is I like to take a little bit of the pesto, we'll stir it up a bit, and pour it into the noodles just to keep them flavorful and from sticking. Okay? Oh, a couple good ladlefuls, about like that. And then I just want to mix it up. Okay, and we'll set this aside and let's get back to our tomatoes. Now they're looking pretty good. A little burn on one side, I'm going to turn them over. And we're going to have them over on the flesh side for just a couple of minutes. We'll get that on the table. Pull our steak in here. And we'll get ready to plate this baby. So let's grab a nice hunk of meat here. I'm going to grab a little bit of our linguini with pesto. Just like that. And add a little more pesto. Not too much because it's got a very distinctive flavor to it. Very good flavor. And last but not least, we'll get our tomatoes on the plate. We'll add a little bit of Asiago to the top of the tomatoes. Our balsamic reduction. So we want to get that stirred up, and just want to drop a little bit on the steak just like that. That's it, folks. Dinner's ready. All right, we got it plated and ready to eat. Unfortunately, my wife is at work, so once again, I have to call camera dude. Come on over here and join me. All right, bro. Gin Dano.
Cheers.